When they say they have an agent, it might be a lie.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And I want to talk to you guys about a listing presentation that I just walked out of. And it's called, I was a cold call. I was doing my calls, right? See these colors. I was doing the cold calls. And this particular homeowner said, yeah, I'm interested, but I have an agent in January. It's now October. So in January, probably about 2 weeks later, I call again, same script. Don't change the script, guys. Just use my script, okay? Make it yours, adopt it. Call, use the same script. Yeah, but you called last week, and I think I told you I had an agent. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just thought maybe I'd follow up. No problem. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Next month, I call, no one answers. No one answers. Then she picks up after about 3 or 4 days of trying to reach back. She goes, yeah, I think you called about a month ago, and I told you I had an agent. I'm like, yeah, okay, so you still thinking of moving? She goes, yeah, I am still thinking of moving, but like I said, I have an agent. I said, all right, no problem. Well, thank you very much for your time. I go about 2 months now. Call back. No, we're not interested. All right, thank you very much. Have a nice day. The script. I'm cold calling these people. You see, if you go into the dialogue, if you go in and you say, hi, my name is Agent Company, we spoke in the past, it gives people time to think. And a strange thing happens when people have time to think about your sales pitch. They reject it. That's why my script is amazing. It just is amazing because I say what I have to say and get what I want to get before they have time to think about an answer. So her answer is no. All right, thank you very much. Have a nice day. It's a cold call with an indication that maybe if there's a variation of her no this time, I know, and I'm elevated, I'm escalated in my awareness based on what could be. Not that it should be or that it might be, but it could be. So I reach back out a month later. Hi, this is Agent with Company. I was just calling to see if you had it. Nope, we're not interested. All right. Now it's Gen Pop. General population, my sorting order, because at that time she said yes, but she has there's a diminishing potential with certain people, but it doesn't mean that I delete the phone number. It doesn't mean that I throw it away. Unlike some gurus, they say if it's not a sellable listing within 7 days, or I don't know what the hell that guy's saying. That's 1985 standards, 1995 standards. Now the standards are we have technology to store data. You don't throw data away. It's a name and a number. Who hasn't told you to die or go to hell? You keep the name and number.
Please observe the speed limit.
Anyhow, so what I do is I reach back out, throw her in Gen Pop. Now it's coming around as a cold call. And she's not abandoned, but it's not a lead anymore. Other than my notes, I'm not going to continue to pursue that lead because it's just not mine. It's just, I don't have hope anymore. Hope is lost. But I don't want to abandon it. And many of you who follow my technologies believe what I believe. And that is, well, what if that maybe they say they are interested, but I don't want, what if the situation is like the one I crossed? Isn't that the beauty about you guys listening to me versus the other guys? I'm here in the trenches. I'm letting you know about the same thing you guys are going through. So you're like, who else would you hear out that you can trust to give you the data that I'm giving you based on reality, not fantasy? So what happens? I was cold calling last night and she pops up. Hi, this is James. I'm an agent with Company. I was just calling to see if you had an interest in selling your house. Well, actually, we are thinking about going to Utah, and we are considering it. Like, oh, okay, great. When do you plan on selling? If you all the questions. Okay, do you have any idea what it's worth? Well, she goes, well, I have an idea, but there's a house across the street that just sold way too much, or it sold for too little. Dialogue, right? I said, well, I'd love to send out information on the values of the marketplace, and we'd love to keep in touch. Maybe later down the road, you'd consider hiring me. Whenever you're closer to it, I can come out and take a look. And she goes, this is a rarity. This is a rarity. But she says, well, you can come out. You can do that if you want. I'm like, all right, great. What's your schedule? I can swing by tomorrow morning around 10 a.m. She goes, 10 should work. I go, okay, great. Are there any other decision makers that I want to, I want to make sure that my message is clear. I want to go through there, but we're going to talk numbers. Is there someone else, that might want to have questions? Is there someone at the property that might also have questions about what we're up to? Yeah, my husband. Okay, great. Will he be there? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Don't want to get anything lost in translation. It's a big decision, and I want all the heads at the table. Okay, no problem. So I get there. No talk of another agent. Did you catch that? In my dialogue, she also goes, you called me before, and this is on the phone, backtracking. She goes, you called me on the phone, right? We've talked. I go, yeah, I called you every 2 or 3 months just to see if maybe. She goes, okay, yeah, no problem. I get to the house. No talk of another agent. I'm doing the presentation. Now, here's the also outcome, is that many people will ask me, do I pre-qualify? Here's my pre-qualification. Are you interested in selling? Yeah. Can I come over? What else is there to what are you going to do? Are you planning? Oh, gee, here's a good one. Here's a crazy one. Mr. Homeowner, before I come out, are you planning on hiring me to sell your house? Oh my God. The answer 99 out of 100 times for me would be no. That is such an insane question to ask. Here's the problem that you might face. If these individuals who are you reaching out to, that you want to pre-qualify before a presentation, if they are outside of your sphere of intense interest, if you follow my technologies, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sphere of intense interest and sphere of interest. If they're in your sphere of interest or intense interest, you shouldn't have an issue pre-qualifying. You should just get in there. If they're in your sphere of intense interest, you shouldn't even pre-qualify. Go. Get in the door. They are going to be your lead in the next. This is long tail, guys. What in the cockamamie dumb butt world do these gurus, especially the big ones, suggest you pre-qualify? Why do they teach this? Why? Because they're teaching you short term? I mean, that would be the only. I'm trying to wrap my head around the lunacy of pre-qualifying before you go on the appointment. Now, this might be a touchy subject because some of you are like, I always pre-qualify. Well, then you always probably don't show up, and you always probably lose listings to people like me who are willing to go there once, have that conversation, establish trust, see if you even want to work with them, see if they're completely insane, and then leave. Guys, there's enough hours in the day if you get one listing appointment a day for you to do this and do your 100 calls and do your 100 doors. There's enough hours. If you're not in a geographical territory that tears you away for too long, if it's an hour in one direction, then I could see pre-qualifying. I mean, if it's an hour for me in one direction, which I don't call that far, my dialer only goes out maybe 20, 30 minutes by traffic. A lot of how we pick our farms is based on speed of access to the front door of the homeowner. So if they're too far, you're calling too far, pump the brakes. If they're too far, you land someone who says maybe, but they're too far, pre-qualify. But that's too far. And even too far, I mean, if it's too far, but it's $1 million, I'm going. Be real. If you haven't gone on a listing presentation in 2 weeks, they'll be pre-qualifying anybody. Go. You're getting rusty. Big deal. Check it out. So we go out there. I go out there. I do the presentation. And I say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, I know you're moving to Utah. You're going to go out they're going next week to Utah. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions? No. Do you have any questions? No. All right. Well, I just got one question. When do you want a moving truck in your driveway? That, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is the single most amazing script. It's James Festini. Do people say, do you use the James Festini moving truck close? That's mine. I have a method. If you become a one-on-one, I'm very limited on my one-on-one. I have a few openings. This isn't BS. It's the first time I've said it, but it ain't BS. I am limiting myself to 7 one-on-one clients. Because even that's too many. I should limit it. I'm limiting it to 5 days a week, 5 people. I don't have time to spend 30 minutes with you, which most of the time when I say I'm doing 30 minutes, it's an hour because I give more than you guys ask for. So I'm a giver. You're welcome. But what happens is, if you have time to go out to the listing appointment, ask them the question, So when would you like to see a moving truck in your driveway? End of story. They'll be like, oh, it's in January and February. Then you kind of gauge it. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's the days on the market. Here's what you can expect. Let's do a timeline, do a little doodle of the moving truck. I have a certain template when I go to a listing presentation that I doodle. If you go back and you see the history of my presentations, my presentation isn't in the manual. That's the CMA, but it's all right there on one page. So when they say they have a friend, and I'm doing all of this dialogue and all of this communication, and then I show them the timeline, I say, so whether you guys decide to hire me, which I hope you do, or anyone else, here's what I suggest. Here's the game plan. Here's what she says next. Oh no, we're not hiring anyone else. You're the guy. I'm like, I say, you like me. Thank you very much. I will continue this attitude and approach and enthusiasm throughout the entire relationship, ladies and gentlemen. So now I gotta ask, when do you want to list this thing? If you've decided who the agent is, when should we be signing contract? Well, we need to head up to Utah, and we'll probably call you from Utah next week. Like, all right, here's what I need from you is a certain amount of time. Here's the game plan. Okay, boom, go. So you thinking by November 1st? Yeah, it sounds about right. Okay, boom. No dialogue about commission. They've sold many houses and they're almost in the million mark, so I have to assume that they're not going to argue my worth. If that is the case, Shaka Khan. If they have a friend, ignore it. Just ignore it. Don't argue with it. Is your friend a top agent? Is your friend in the area? There's no dialogue that you should get. And I'll close on this comment. There are only 2 reasons you will lose in this game of real estate to another individual. 2 reasons. How many of you can guess? Put in the comments below and say the 2 reasons. As you're watching the video, press pause, type out the 2 reasons. That will show me that you're listening to me. Then press play. Welcome back. What are the 2 reasons why you would lose a listing or a client to an individual agent? The 2 reasons are love and money. The hardest one to overcome is love. Love not meaning I love you, they're in bed with each other. Love meaning there's a relationship. They're from the church, they're a friend, they're a past agent. They've had history. There's history in that love. There's an affection, there's dialogue, there's communication. It's a relationship. Love. Or money. They quote higher than you quote. There is a commission negotiation that lessens the value for you or lessens the value for the industry as a whole, but there's another agent who's offering it less, or they're quoting more for the value of the property, love or money. And so you can always, the only counteraction, it's a strange dance, but the only way to overcome love is with money. You're not going to outbond someone else. They're not going to suddenly like you more than the person they love. Unless the relationship truly was never love in the first place. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened in this particular situation. During the course of that presentation, she said, well, do you know this agent? It rings a bell. Even if it's the top agent, it rings a bell. That's all I say about anyone. When they say, do you know? I don't say, oh, I heard they're in prison. I heard they're monsters. Now, it rings a bell. The name rings a bell. Well, that's the agent who sold us our house and bought it. So she's had a sale and a purchase with this other agent who's around here. She goes, I think she had a stroke, she said. I go, oh, sad. Any other questions? They're like, nope, you're the guy. I'm like, bam. So the agent was a smokescreen. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it was, but over time, I just chose to ignore it. And over time, I was that other agent. And now, because they have my card and because they have their package, if anybody else reaches out, I have an agent. Same thing happened a week ago. I think I talked about it, where they just lose interest, but I'll talk about that on another topic. Make sure you go to jamesfestini.com/training, join the 100-day prospecting challenge, and become a beast. Join the Festini Mafia. Good luck.